so excited for this guy. Now, I remember being a little kid, sitting on my grandfather's lap, reading this exact book, the Ford Chronicle. Now, him and I used to just sit and read his old car books, and this was one of my favorites. I think it had something to do with all the color and all the history. It showed all of the very, very old cars up through the 90s or so, and it's been very fun to get this book back and look through it again, and remember sitting with my grandpa, bonding with him over his car books. It's a big reason I'm into the old cars, and I'm forever grateful for that, because it has become not just a hobby now, it's almost like a lifestyle and truly a sickness. Now, I'm not necessarily a Ford fanboy, but as a young child, I definitely loved the Fords, and my grandpa, he had a brick nose Ford F-150 in brown, and I can't help but feel nostalgic looking out at the project truck that I just bought recently. So a friend of mine, he has been dailying on and off for the last 4 years a 1991 Ford Bronco, and him and his dad were going to fix it up, and they never got around to it. My friend had been driving it around in the winter up here in Minnesota. Claims it's the best snow vehicle that he's ever had. He just recently wanted to get rid of it, sold it to me, so I bought this vehicle for $900, and I'm going to do my very best to bring it back to life, within reason, of course. It's a manual, which I'm very excited about. It has the famous Ford inline 6, and I am very excited to get working on it. It's missing a lot of body panels, but the frame is pretty solid, and there's been a few little things where it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to be kind of tough to pull apart, knock all the rust off, cut the rust out, and do my very best to make the thing one cohesive, functioning vehicle again. I'm not going to do like a full-blown restoration. It's too far gone to do that. Instead, I'm going to patch it together, and rivets and replacement body panels, new fenders, the things that it needs. And I've decided to dub this project Patches, because I'm going to be just patching everything together. So after 2 failed project vehicles, I had an Astro van.
I just farted and it smells better in here.
That was just too far gone to save. I ended up selling that. And then I also bought a Jeep J10. It was a 1974 Jeep J10. It was just, it was another thing that I didn't want to deal with, basically. Too much holage in the floor, and for whatever reason the steel was galvanized. I didn't even want to mess around with welding. So I actually doubled my money on that one. Now, the Bronco. I kind of want this to be like my camping rig. Here we have a 1991 Bronco, brick nose. Reminds me of Sam's F-250. We got some rust. So I picked this up from a friend for $900. I did end up getting rid of another project that I was very excited about, but this scratches that itch and should be hopefully a little easier to work on. We'll find out. So we've got 20,000 miles on the clock. I think it's 120. Aftermarket tech that doesn't work. Manual. 5-speed, pretty pumped about that. 4-wheel drive works. Radio doesn't currently work. Dashboard is a little shaky, like a lot of these new tailgate. Whole back seat is still there. Tailgate's pretty bad, pretty holy, gotta fix that. We do have some pretty serious body rust. Rears are pretty bad. Fronts will just get replaced. It's got the cool mag wheels, love that. I think I'll probably leave them that color. I know I always want to bronze on them, but I think I'll probably leave it. We've got some pretty bad rust back here. It was rear-ended, so that bumper's pretty well shot. As you can see, the tailgate is egregious. I think this might end up being the camping rig. It's so cool. Here's the new tailgate. Appears to be actually pretty freshly painted. It's quite nice. It's just kind of a sparkly brown, but I really don't like the brown. So it is what it is. Had some old mats and a Fender or something shield in there. So we got just kind of got our spare. This is the back of the, yeah, it goes over there. Back of the tailgate. I took the taillight housings out because I've got to get a little cutty with it anyway. And I'm going to be replacing them with some different ones. I can't get the bumper off yet because I only have metric sockets. I really need to get some standard. This is basically my first American project vehicle, so got to get some more tools, oh darn. Cutting the rust out, kind of starting to track down corners, this stuff. A lot of rust, man. I did manage to mostly get the bumper off, not without leaving some of it behind. It's not so good. I need to figure out how to get this thing off. Everything's like really rusty, so I'm a little nervous about that. That just has to be replaced. This thing's definitely going to be getting a rattle can paint job. Found this deep forest green. I figured it'd be good since I want this to be my camping rig. So there's the green against the brown. I like it a lot more than I thought I was going to. Perfect color for a camping rig. Maybe I'll do a line of bed liner right on the bottom. That fender's going away. That one's being repaired. We did get some runs in the paint, which I'm not really surprised about. I didn't really sand anything. I just wanted to see what the color looked like. So looks like I'm gonna be buying a lot more of that. Well, my fender patches came. This one's going on. Big old steel rivets. It's funny how it actually looks so much better, even though it's a terrible fix. And just go out on a limb and guess that that's going to be a trend for this particular project, you know? Well, there's one fender patch done. Riveted all together. Obviously, we're still a little floppy, but much better than it was. Plus, like, I know it looks bad, but I think it looks so much better than it did. So now, next will be the other side. I ran out of rivets, so I'm gonna have to make a trip to Menards. I'll probably do the front fenders. I'm starting to look at these placement fenders that I picked up from a guy who owned a farm. They're a little bit rough around the edges, but they're so much better. We can take a closer look. That's pretty bad. And this is also so much worse. Check that out. Lots of material missing. So I'm gonna patch these back together and slap them on the truck, hopefully. In the meantime, I kind of don't like the visor, so I'm gonna see if I can get that off. So there we go. No more visor. Definitely a lot of stuff stuck up under it. But I just like the way that looks better. So excited for this guy. I also replaced the old shift knob with a moon. This actually used to be in my super swapped Beetle. A little something different. I like it. I think it's kind of a neat touch. All right, fenders are kind of sort of fixed. We've got holes, but we've got paint on, just the Rust-Oleum Rust Reformer. And I also used the Rust-Oleum Dissolver. So that helped take care of some of the rust. I just have some holes to patch, which is pretty fine because that's the whole point of this project. I think before the fenders go on though, I kind of want to get the tailgate over with. Admittedly, a little bit nervous to do all that work. So, all right, so I'm prepping one of the Bronco's new fenders, kind of sort of ready. I scuffed it up a little bit, probably needs a little bit more, and then I gotta wipe the dust off. I'm hoping I can keep some daylight in, having a little bonfire. We have two fenders that have some paint on them now. I anticipate that there will be some more painting on these once they get on the car. You know, just a little touch up. I know that there's a couple spots that I'll need to go over again, but it's nice to see these parts look green. I bet they're gonna look awesome on the truck itself. I managed to get all of the rear bumper off now, which is great. I still have my tow bar. Starting to look underneath and I see a lot of brown and red. We're gonna ignore that for now. Well, I made a discovery on my way out today. I was walking out to my car this morning. I looked underneath the Bronco after I smelled some fuel. Not only are there a bunch of chunks of Bronco laying everywhere, big chunk there, also getting a pretty good fuel leak underneath this old gas tank. So I think that is becoming the next thing to do. It's a real bummer considering my friend just got the title for this thing after 4 years, and we're about to transfer it into my name this week. But now I can't drive it because the thing that holds the fuel is leaking, so can't win them all. Yeah, stay tuned for much more. I'm very excited to be working on this thing the remainder of the summer and into the fall.